When I'm out on my morning runs, I oftentimes see abandoned furniture on the side of the road. And most of the time, it's garbage, not worth picking up. But every once in a while, I do see something that catches my eye and is worth going back to pick up. And this little cabinet is one of them. I'll be showing you the steps to build a mid-century inspired lamp. But first, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It'll really help me out. Okay, here's the poor little guy I found on the side of the road. It was probably a drop front cabinet like this one at one time. What caught my eye is that it is solid wood, no plywoods, no veneers. So it was worth picking up. You can see the front is missing. The hinges were still there. I could use those for a future project. The front of this cabinet is solid wood. The side is solid wood. It has dovetails, crappy dovetails, but dovetails nonetheless, all worth keeping. I'll need to fabricate 5 components: an upper spindle, the middle table, a lowered tapered leg, the lower base, and an attachment plate. Okay, so let's start making the upper spindle. And the wood we're going to use is the wood that was part of the shelf dividers. Here's the wood from the shelf dividers, and what we want to end up with is a square spindle 1 inch by 1 inch, or 2.5 centimeters, with a tunnel down the middle for a cord. So now that the board is 1 inch wide, we need to plane it down to 1/2 inch thick. We're going to end up gluing 2 of these together. We're jumping ahead a little bit, but what we want to end up with is the 2 boards glued together and this channel down the center in order to accept the electrical cord. To make the groove on one side of each of the boards, we'll use a straight cutting bit in the router, about 1 centimeter deep. And once again, here are the 2 boards glued together. The spindle is square. We want it round, like a dowel. So the trick is to use a round over bit half the size of the dimension of the wood. So our wood is 1 inch by 1 inch. We want a 1/2 inch router bit. Had the wood been 3/4 inch, you would use a 3/8 bit. Had it been 1/2 inch thick, you'd use a 1/4 inch bit, and so on. We'll round over each corner 4 passes. To make the lower tapered leg, I'll be using the wood from one of the sides of the cabinet. The lower spindle will start off at about 5 centimeters square, or about 2 inches square. I'll cut the side into 2-inch strips using the table saw. Then I'll plane them down to about 1/2 inch thick. Each one of these is 1/2 inch thick by 2 inches wide, and glued together we'll end up with 2 inches by 2 inches, or 5 centimeters square. The length is about 24 inches or 60-ish centimeters. Glued together to make a wood sandwich. This is the very bottom of the leg, and what we want to end up with is the center 1 inch square section. Everything around it will be removed from the using the table saw, and the upper part of the tapered leg will remain at 2 inches square. I'm using a tapering jig to cut the taper in the lower leg. Unfortunately, this picture is not very good. So here's a picture of a tapering jig to give you a better idea of how it works. Well, unfortunately, I don't have video of the cuts, but here's the tapered leg after each side is cut. All right, let's move on to the middle table. And to make the middle table, we'll be using wood from the center shelf of the poor little cabinet. The table is 14 inches round, and we'll draw a circle using one of my patterns. Then to the bandsaw. To make the table perfectly round, I hot glued the pattern to the table, and using a pattern cutting bit on the handheld router, this wheel will follow the pattern and your table will end up perfectly round. Here I'm drilling a 1 inch hole about halfway through the table to accept the upper spindle. The underside of the table was softened using this chamfering bit on the handheld router. This is the base, and it was made exactly as what you just saw for the center table. The only difference is, rather than a round hole in the center in the drill press, it started off as a round hole, but then it's squared off because the lower portion of the tapered leg needs to fit into this square opening. Oh, and the base is about 10 inches round. Here I'm routing out about 2 or 3 millimeters of wood in order to accept a reinforcement plate I made out of steel. You'll see more of that coming up. In order to attach the top part of the tapered leg to the bottom of the middle table, I needed a mounting plate, which you'll see more later on. I don't have much video of it, but here I am using a roll of masking tape to make a circle, and then I cut it out on the bandsaw. You can see I used one of the side drawers of the cabinet. Okay, here's a spoiler alert of that mounting plate. The very last fabrication step was to install hollow threaded rod to the ends of the spindle and the tapered legs. You can buy this hollow threaded rod at Lowe's or Home Depot in the lamp repair section. And here are the 5 fabricated components: an upper spindle, middle table, mounting plate, lower tapered leg, and lower base. Next is stain and finish. The color I chose was brown mahogany. It's a gel stain and it's by General Finishes. I like using gel stain. Easy to apply, brush on, wipe off, done. I'm brushing on the stain using a cheap foam brush and then wiping off the excess using blue shop towels from Harbor Freight. For the final finish, I would use spray polyurethane, semi-gloss, 3 coats, sanding with 400 grit sandpaper in between each coat. Well, it's finally assembly time. At Lowe's, I purchased this lamp kit, and it comes with everything you need to build a lamp. Pretty cool. This is where I attach the mounting plate to the top of the tapered leg. And here it is attached to the underside of the middle table. Underneath the base, I'm attaching the steel reinforcement plate. I use these chair glides under the base for a couple of reasons. It prevents scratches on your floors, and it also keeps the lamp from wobbling. Yeah, and here it is, fully assembled. Final step will be to wire it up. Using electrical tape, I attached the lamp wire to the end of an unraveled coat hanger and fed it through the lamp. followed by some basic wiring. And this knot prevents the cord from being yanked out. I shut the lights off in the garage for ambiance. And we're done with the lamp. Thank you again for watching. Hey, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more woodworking and DIY videos in the future. We'll see you again soon. Take care.